professionals.
Right. But at least with that particular group, it's like he does it, but that's not his only thing, right? Like it's like he does it for fun, and also there seems to be a little more diversity at the table.
Oh yeah, I mean, Critical Role has tried, but they started with the core group of people, and I don't know. Anyway, welcome to the show. Maybe once you jump on, we were pre-talking Critical Role. Joe hasn't seen the cartoon yet. I haven't seen the latest episode of Boba Fett yet, so no spoilers. Everyone,
it's that same bad that League of Legends bad taste, right? Like it's another cartoon based on something that, like again, I begrudgingly want to watch it. I would love to sit down and watch Vox Machina, but like I can't get behind the fact that it's yet another vehicle for money for Critical Role. Like
it's weird because you don't have the same problem with 700 Disney things on the Marvel property, and like 1,000 properties.
It's because those particular properties have been around since even before the monstrosity that is Disney.
So here's a new property. You have a problem with it.
I don't know. I don't know.
You put me in the awkward position of defending Critical Role, which I'm like,
I know.
Thanks for jumping on, Tim. Hey. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, surprise, Dan. Surprise. We're on today. Hey, Rita, thanks for
like I said, like I mentioned before, how I started the conversation. It's like this like weird monkey paw. It's like you get to have awesome cartoon that everyone loves based on D&D, but it's Matt Mercer. I'm like,
yes, exactly. Hey, is Rolls on here? Because 13 months. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, Rolls kills it.
Awesome. 13 months in a row. That is just amazing.
We're gonna get a bunch of those if anyone reloaded, for the month. So like, I appreciate that, everyone. That makes me. That's awesome. I don't know what to say. Let's start the brand here. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to the Mid-Geek Christ, episode 262 episodes, folks. Welcome to another Tuesday. Sorry we weren't here last week. We had a man down, and we don't leave a fallen man behind. So
yeah, I just the long dark days of January in Syracuse just drags you into the depths, and I couldn't get out for it. So I appreciate everyone being cool with it, hanging out, Wordles, throwing the Wordles up there has kept me going all week.
Which let's start there. Wordle, man, with this monstrosity. I feel like within the 3 weeks, within the month of January that it existed, it has now been purchased for over $1 million.
Good for them.
By again, Monkey Paw. The New York Times. So for how long will we be playing it for free?
Yeah, worst is a good starting word. That's a good way to put it. January, February is terrible. It's just brutal months, especially up here in the Northeast where it's just dark and cold for days on the end. Can't blame the guy for cashing out. No,
absolutely not. That guy. Remember, to the last episode we were here, we were talking about how there was a ripoff, right? There was already some guy cashing out by ripping off Wordle and making an iOS app. So there was a game out there that someone was already monetizing.
Yeah, and, so he cashed out. Good for him. He doesn't have to support it. Do you think it's like all right, so some of us have partners, some of us have families, people important in our lives. Do you think it's weird to sell a gift you made for your partner to the New York Times?
I don't know. I guarantee you that he probably asked his wife. He was like, "Hey, the New York Times wants to offer us over $1 million.
Yeah,
for this JavaScript that I wrote." By the way, folks, if you didn't know, Wordle is a contained JavaScript, which means that you can download the entire website and it works forever. As in, like, once you download the source, it works independently without any server interaction.
Oh, so like, because it just generates a random 5-word and it knows where the
right,
word
and it's already got the dictionary within the file. So like, there's not like new words can be made.
My wife would sell me for $1 million.
Yeah. That'll just cover the student loans, right?
It would actually be an excellent investment because then they would buy me back for $10 right there. Like,
I'm like I devalue like Yahoo.
Exactly. Depreciates in value the second I open my mouth, right?
Yes. The moment you drive me off the lot, they're like, "What?
We made a terrible mistake."
Oh man,
that's amazing. I like the idea that like I would be like, no, I can't sell it. It was a gift to you. We're not going to sell it. And my wife being like, you call them right back and you sell that thing right now.
That's how you do it. You totally sell it and then tell the wife, and the wife would be like, so I told him no, I couldn't sell it because, you know, I love you too much. It was a gift. And then she'd be like, no, what are you talking about? And he's like, you already sold it. It's just like, that's the way it would work.
You double dip.
You double dip, right? Take both sides. Speaking of double dipping here, let's again, like what we said, Wordle's already been purchased for low 7 figures is what the amount was, according to So I don't know how you've been enjoying the game. I've been enjoying it, man. It's fun to kind of hop on in the morning.
You know what I love most about it? If I'm rusty, that's a terrible first word. Boo!
No, it is a terrible first word. Boo! Boo this person.
Boo this man.
Michael over here.
Over under for the paywall popping up. I mean, rolls eventually. With the New York Times, you wind up paying for it somehow, right? Like, even though it's just going to be covered in ads, it won't be as clean. I don't know how many people have the New York Times app with a subscription. I do. If you can afford
it. Pinkies up, folks. Pinkies up.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I just incognito every so often, and it just starts me over at 6. I get my 5 articles.
It's one of the things that if you can afford it, it is good to support journalism, right? So if you can afford it, support some journalism. So that's that's the journalism we support. I hate their goddamn app. It crashes all the time. It sucks. It's the worst.
I'm still on Stern and audio. I'm a Arise person.
Arise is good.
And then I tend to use depending on the letters, I tend to use Booty. BOOTY.
2 O's.
I know it's 2 O's. But when I use I know I end up using one, but you end up getting an OT and a Y.
The OTY is nice. No E though, and S is weird.
Yeah, I can try Monty too. I've tried that one as well, and that one can work as well.
So Rolls, you're obviously playing easy mode because going Stern and audio gives you a great 10 letters. But if you get any letters in Stern, you can't use audio, right? There's no overlap on the two.
Right.
If you have to use the letters you find in the first one. Since I've had some bad luck with my Nomo Frank starting word, Ghost is my secondary. That's amazing.
That's a good one.
Gonna try hard mode tomorrow. Just throw away your first guess rolls with Xylo. It's my first word.
Oh, God, that's a good word.
What if one day you type that in and it's the first guess?
Oh my God, that would just like you just close the app. You're done. You've won Wordle, right? Such a funny thing.
Furious.
There was some pretty good ones this past week that were like, I was upset that they used them, like
what was it? It was like wheat. No, it was a different one. Some other W word that drove me mad.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know.
Or like yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I have to look back. But yeah, no, there was some good ones, and but definitely some words that I wouldn't use. Then I sat there for the longest time going, what letters do I have left, and what's a word?
I started up before I jump in the shower in the morning, and then I sit in the shower thinking of the word, and I'm like, what could it possibly be? Maybe this letter and this letter. Whose, that's it. And I think I put in those.
Well, I think the word was those. It's whose was one of those.
Today's.
What? Spoiler alert, anyone who's watching this has already played
Get
their
it in
Wordle.
one, baby. Tell them you guessed it. That's the way to do
Get
it.
it in one. I've got one. When you look at my chart, I've got one that's a 1 because I did it. And then I did it on my did it on my iPad, and I was like, oh crap.
Oh, you did it on a different device.
Yeah, I did it on a different device,
like,
and it was just like
that's how you optimize your score. There's someone out there who does that every day just to show off.
Just do it on 1, and then like they'll play. I'll get it in 2 today.
Still waiting on the Mythical 2 play weight. I think Joe got one.
I got a 2. I did get a 2 one.
2.
I did it only because the first word, that first word hit like 4 letters. It was like 3 greens and a yellow, and I was like, oh crap! Like, so anywho, awesome. Wordle, crazy. I love fun. Like I said, he put.
Who knew that cloud and could had the same letters, and you'd be mad if you guess one, not the other.
I have used penis as a word.
It's a solid word. It's
a solid word. It's got an N,
an I, S at the end. It's great. It's a great word.
It's a great word. Totally okay to start with that word.
Solid word.
Solid word. Rock hard word. Speaking of acquisitions and Wordle, that might
everyone's buying games. Everyone's buying games.
We don't make them anymore. We just buy them. You just go to the local game mart and buy them. And in a not as big of an acquisition, Sony has acquired Bungie.
$3.6 billion for Destiny.
Yeah, man.
Or
just
Destiny
for
3?
It's just for. Well, I mean, it's whatever the Destiny makers can make because they've only made one game outside of Halo.
Yeah, and they can't make Halo.
They can't make Halo because Halo isn't owned by them. Microsoft bought the rights to Halo outright.
$3.6 billion. Sony was like, who's left? Who can we buy before Microsoft gets them?
You know, it wasn't Capcom, and it wasn't Capcom, wasn't Sega, and it wasn't Konami. Although, if anything, if there's one company I wouldn't mind Sony just buying, just buy, like Sony, you just buy it. It would be either Square or Konami.
Sega would be a good choice.
Maybe Sega and Microsoft have a lot of history with the Dreamcast and the Xbox. I feel like they fit more there. But I mean, you've got the entire Square library is practically a first party for Sony, right? Like the Final Fantasy series. Anyone thinks of Final Fantasy, you think of PlayStation now. It's very rare that you think of anything else.
That's true. They're already pretty much connected at the hip.
Yeah, they're like connected at the hip. And then Konami, and like everyone, even though Metal Gear Solid has come out on other ones, Metal Gear Solid is like a PlayStation. Like everyone thinks about Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2. So it's become kind of a.
Solid was on the Nintendo first.
Well, the very first one, right? But then the new, like when it went 3D and it became a stealth game, you know, like the Hideo Kojima.
It was already a stealth game in the first one.
The
box over your head. Come on.
The NES version of Metal Gear is really whack. It's not. It's a port of the MSX version, and it's a completely.
Oh my god, that's a.
It's just not It's not really like a. It's a weird version of the game. So
it's a weird version. It's the version I grew up with. Thank you very much. It's the first Metal Gear Solid I played. I only played one of. I think I played the PlayStation one once, and I never played any of them after that.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't really.
I played 1 and 2, and then they got weird. Well,
yeah, I feel like the plots were pretty inscrutable by the third.
Well, that's Hideo Kojima, right? Yeah. Like the dude is totally smoking it up while he's writing the script on for these.
He just has like weird things to say. No,
he does. Like, what is it on the newest one in 5? Right, that was the one where you could like to rescue people. You'd like slap them with the
strap things to balloons,
the balloons, and they'd shoot them up into the clouds. Like, it's like Halo.
Device. Is Sony still considered a Japanese company? Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah, 100%. It is a Sony.
Yeah. I mean, they're all global now, though. But yeah,
right. So they're all global, but just like Nintendo, while we have Nintendo of America, Nintendo of Europe, it's head of the Hydra is in Japan. Like none of the other branches can do anything or say anything or release anything or announce anything without Papa Japan saying anything.
So I have a question and or prediction, depending on your viewpoint. With this consolidation of game companies vertically integrated into the companies that own the machines that put out their games, there's only like 6 major game companies around, right? Maybe 7.
Yeah, a few of the major ones are left.
Tencent owns a huge number of them. Take-Two Interactive has a huge number of studios. Microsoft has a huge number of studios.
Yeah, like I said, Sega, Konami, Square, Ubisoft, EA.
Ubisoft is huge. I mean, there's like a bajillion Ubisoft.
What's going on, Brandon?
Yeah, EA is another big one.
So I mean, there are a lot of big ones left, but they don't have the depth of IP or that are active IP. Like Sega, man, the person that picks up Sega or Capcom, that you've got
Street Fighter.
You've got so many intellectual properties to use. I mean, Capcom alone. I mean, if you just think about like any of the fighting is the Marvel versus series or the Capcom versus series, you see that they bring in all these characters of franchises that they've got dormant, right?
Yeah, but can they ever do that with Marvel again? Is that something that's run laps? That's run its course. For
when Disney bought Marvel, they made one more Marvel game, right? So it was Marvel's Capcom Infinite, and it's a terrible game, absolutely terrible. And you can tell that version of the game is like a lot of the MCU looking characters. None of the mutants exist in it. Like it's just a weird
it's already filtered out in garbage, right?
Yeah. So will we see it again? I mean, they're working on it. They apparently got into talks for re-releases, but I don't know about a new one. We'll see.
Re-release would be. I mean, even remastered releases would be amazing. Does Atari have any valuable IT? I think they got stripped. Like they got mostly left stripped. From the Atari. And went over to Activision. Activision was most of what Atari put out that was really good.
Who's the biggest independent? So I guess you would have to talk. I mean, I don't know how that works, right? So big independent publishers like Annapurna and
but they're under umbrella companies that distribute their product,
right? And then Team 17.
Yeah, Team 17 has a shit ton of companies under their umbrella, though.
Yeah, but they're a publisher that, I mean, they own certain IPs, but not everything that is they publish they own. So
right.
So that's why independents are different.
In a way,
yeah,
right. Epic Games goes out and publishes some other folks' games and things like that.
Right.
I don't know anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We're
going to have to wait a year to figure out who's biggest now because it seems like all the big ones got bought up.
Yeah, a lot of the big ones got bought up. And again, that's not to say that there aren't any big ones out there. Like we mentioned, Ubisoft and EA are still ginormous. EA has got such a deep catalog that we don't even remember. Like all we see from them is like Madden's, right? But they've got the entire Need for Speed franchise. They got the Burnout series. They've got like the Drift series. They've got a bunch of different. Those are just racing
car series. 3 trash cars.
Absolutely not, sir. You shut your mouth hole. And then they also have licenses, right? So the EA's got the NASCAR license and the F1 license, and then FIFA's huge. But then we got to look back. They own Westwood Studios, which has like Command and Conquer.
Yeah, all those like nice real-time strategy games, which are due for a return, I swear. Thanks for jumping on, Kristen. Hello to you.
Hey, Kristen.
Who made it takes two? What?
Well, Take Two Interactive. Take Two is a publisher, and they have a few. I think they have a few games under their belt, but they're not a developer anymore.
I think It Takes Two, the game. Who made that?
Oh, well, so It Takes Two is an independent, but it's an independent game published by EA, but EA doesn't own them.
Right. So EA does a lot of publishers. Wing Commander, Dan. Pour a little out for Wing Commander.
Yeah, man. Again, that's an EA one. So EA owns a ton, but again, we don't see them. Occasionally, they necro post, right? They'll pull one out of the closet and we shake it to dry,
and boo them and burn down their building.
So EA's known for. I mean, they own The Sims. It's huge. It's a huge franchise.
Yeah, Sims is That's right. So it's Sims and Madden. That's what EA puts out.
Yeah. But I mean, when we talk about what they do, is they like to pull out a franchise occasionally out of the closet. Like they pulled out that Command and Conquer. They did a remaster of that like a year ago.
That's right.
And yet they didn't put any money into it. It did okay. And what their narrative is like, hey, we released these games that you've been asking for. No one bought them. So why were we going to spend more money? We'll just release more Madden. You know, like that's their narrative. It's like they like to put out some of these like little titles to say that they're appeasing the fans. We haven't forgotten about you, but in reality, they're doing it very half-assedly.
So Firaxis is EA, right? So like Firaxis, so Civilization, some of my favorites, right? Civilization, XCOM, those are under there. Yep, SimCity is under there. Yep, Kristen says.
Yeah, they own a lot of franchises with the most loyal fan base. Yep, that's exactly right. There's because they bought out all those companies that put out a lot of those older early PC games, right?
Yeah, because they were easy to buy. Micro Pros, like you just pick it up for $10, right?
Yeah.
They haven't put out anything
at some point in time. Yeah, so they also own Bejeweled, which they owned all of PopCap, right? So they bought all of the PopCap, Zuma,
That's
Zuma,
right, PopCap, yeah.
Plants vs Zombies.
Yep, that's
which they've turned into this massive like thing, right? They own what's the other one?
Have you played the first person shooter Plants vs Zombies?
Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty good.
One's a ton of fun.
My kiddo loved playing it. Peggle. They own Peggle.
Peggle from way back when. Yeah, I remember Peggle. I haven't played that in a while.
Who owns Guerrilla Games? That's a good one. I'm sure someone will look that up for us. But I seem
to make you sad.
I forgot who owns that. I know a lot of casual games. Well, not enough to talk about. Yeah, it's right. So, Kristen, that's the big thing. Is like a lot of people don't. We always talk about the big AAA titles that get purchased when we see these things. But, I mean, one of the big ones. Perfect example is with Microsoft buying Activision. They bought Candy Crush.
Yeah, they've got and so they're just going to farm the hell out of that. Thanks for jumping on, Studio Arts.
Yeah, what's going on, Stadium? Yeah, no, absolutely.
There we go, Jan. Thank you. Guerrilla Games is owned by Sony PlayStation Studios. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Welcome.
Yeah, episode 162. Welcome.
Woo, 162. No, yeah, Guerrilla Games Studio. Man, I forgot. Well, at least Horizons is a series amazing. Yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes. The Forza Horizons and Horizons the group. They're right. They do the Horizons. The new one. Their next one is coming out in like a week or so.
Yep.
What is it? Dawn of the West or Journey of the West, or I forgot the subtitle to it. Anyway, Horizons 2.
Horizons 2.
But speaking of independence, one of my favorites, Shovel Knight developer. What is it? Yacht Club Games. Fantastic group of folks. You and I have talked to them at PAX. We've gone there and they're
solid good people.
But they announced this game. They've kind of been doing the whole the Shovel Knight thing for so long that I think everyone forgot that they do make other games, or that they could make other games. And sure enough, they just announced.
Who owns them? Who owns them right now?
Nobody. That's them themselves.
Good to see. We were talking about independent studios. Here we go. Yacht Club Games. Something else? Nim. Music's on point.
It's like a little like a Zelda title with like a little mouse. And knowing Yacht Club, this will be on everything. It'll be on Switch, on Xbox, on PlayStation, on whatever handheld they can put it on. PC.
Why do I lie? This looks hard.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, this looks like it reminds me a little bit of Link's Awakening with the color palette. It's not as bright as Link to the Past. It looks like it's like a handheld.
A lot of different abilities. So as I realize that everyone's calling this a Zelda-like, I can't help but think to myself, what's the difference between a Zelda-like and a Metroid-like? Or a Metroidvania? Do you need the platformer for it to be a Metroidvania game?
Well, right. So yeah. So I think the Metroid side of things is like the 2D, the side scroll map, opening the map, and Zelda tends to be the isometric or top down view.
Yeah, there you go. You mean
dungeon.
Zelda 2 like? That's good, Dan. Thank you.
Zelda 2, right? Zelda 2, right? Yes, and thanks for the correction there. It is Horizons Forbidden West. I always forget the subtitles of some of these titles. And then yes, you're right. It is not the racing, and that's on them. I mean, it's two titles named Horizon, right? So Horizon, and they both come out within the same year. So there's like the racing game Horizon, and then Horizon the third-person action title.
So I love it, Brandon. RPG elements. So gathering weapons and different powers to proceed to fight harder bosses are not RPG elements like in Metroid, right? So like, we could talk about this for hours.
Well, so no, you're right. I mean, but we also have to put into consideration that the likes are both from the same company, right? So Nintendo put out Metroid, but then what's interesting about the Metroid side of things is Metroid is Metroid, but then now everyone calls them Metroidvanias, right? Because Symphony of the Night refined that like formula of like going back and forth between the map and opening up and getting tools to get in. And so it was one part Metroid, one part its own thing. And so now even the new Metroids are more Metroidvania than original Metroid, right?
Right. I mean, it all feeds itself in a great turn, right? So I would say Zelda 2 was Metroid-like. See?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
hey, you got some chocolate in my peanut butter, some peanut butter in my chocolate. That's exactly what ends up happening with these.
Like the idea of having to collect keys or powers or abilities to unlock other areas of the map is not. That's a game, right? That's not specific to a kind of game. So it's interesting to figure out what makes this one a spicy Metroid game and this one a spicy Zelda game.
We could go off odds and ends on this, and like the term gets used a lot, right? So when one game becomes
popular, say they were roguelikes. Roguelike is thrown around like fucking
right. But what's interesting about that is everyone calls it a roguelike, but why is it not called like a Diablo-like? Or or
don't even get started with Diablo clones because we don't call them likes, we call them clones.
Yeah, they're Diablo clones, not Diablo likes. And then roguelikes are
there we go. Stadium says top-down action RPG.
Yeah. Zelda does feel like yeast, or wise or yeast. I don't know how, depending on who wants to say it. That I haven't.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
No, I mean
a treatise on this. Thou shalt not.
Because gamers like to put things in boxes, right? Like,
but then they like to include their favorite games inside their box as well, right?
But then there's people that don't agree that they become like anyone who says that Zelda is an RPG. They're like, oh, it's not an RPG, it's an action.
I would say it's not an RPG because you have to play Zelda. What role am I playing except Zelda? There isn't. I can't roll up a different Zelda, right?
Yeah, you can't roll up a different Link or a different character.
Link. Whoa. Nobody's going to correct me on that?
No, I'm going to let you run with it. That's how it works. And then you have ActRaiser, which ActRaiser is ActRaiser, right? I mean, but yet are, and a good example is Mega Man. Like there's other games that have homage.
That's a Metroidvania kind of game, but
depending on the version of them, right? So like if you want to talk about like X2 and X3, there's certain ones where the boss order matters, and depending on the weapon that you have, the level changes, which is kind of Metroid-esque, where as soon as you unlock something or push a lever and then like lava gets moved, then the level's different, right? Or you can play it earlier and the level's harder. You know,
or you could say it's a Metroidvania with more abilities to do it the way you want, while like Metroidvania has like a clear path. And Brandon lost nerd cred there. What if I was trolling you? What if I was trolling you? Right?
I believe that's what it was. Always. I mean, you're just gonna. I mean. What if Zelda was a girl? I mean, like, I don't. Actually, maybe that's not even an RPG, not the first one, as you don't get experience levels, so more of a top-down. Yeah, so Zelda 1 is interesting because it's not technically an RPG, right? But yet, it's its own thing. Like,
it's interesting, right? You don't experience, but you do gain hearts. Right, so you do kind of gain levels. You gain more ability to take damage. You gain gear to get through things. So
yeah, a good example of this would be then
the definition.
If anyone remembers Crystallis on NES, it's the little SNK. Anyway, it's one of my favorite top, and it's a Zelda. People call it a Zelda clone, but it was also more Link to the Past than it came before because it was still on the NES. It came before Link to the Past, but yet. So
it's like the perfect Zelda game.
It's like the perfect Zelda game before all the Zeldas that we love came out. So I think it boils down to the means of progression, how the game marks it. Like Metroid, you progress based on unlocks and heart characters. Well, absolutely.
Yep, there you go.
That's progression. Definitely the weapons, like by the end of a Metroid game, you're kind of this walking god, right? Like that's the best feeling.
That's never been my experience in a Metroid game.
Yeah, a Metroid game.
I'm always like, did I make it? Oh, thank God I can stop playing this game.
Because you missed like 15 energy tanks that were hidden behind walls, and so you don't have enough health. No, I get it.
It's just absolutely awful. RPGs really boil down to statistics. Some RPGs, but yeah, I mean, that's definitely a gamer reason, a gamer explanation. JRPGs was sort of established that in a way, but like, I'm trying to think of a more modern role-playing game like, geez Louise. All of them have health, strength, and agility, and like.
But then you want to talk chocolate and peanut butter again. If you want to talk the platforming Metroidvania-esque game, but then you do Dead Souls, which is like a roguelike.
Dead Souls is a 3D Metrovania game, is it not?
With a roguelike, because
that's right, with the roguelike elements.
Right. So like
that's right.
That's how it works. You chocolate in your peanut butter.
It just becomes like it just becomes a ridiculous fusion spot in a corner of somewhere.
And there it is. The term gets thrown around. I mean, what's another term? If you want to talk about cliche terms, and Metroidvania is definitely a cliche term nowadays. Like everyone's trying to make one, or because everyone loves those style games, which is just a game, right? I think we've come down to it that Metroidvanias are just a game with progression, is with backtracking.
It's a game, but like they're different. They're different flavors, much like cuisines are all food. But you've got Asian, you've got Chinese, you've got Indian, you've got Mexican. But that's all Asian,
right. But then another one that gets turned around is Dark Souls.
Yeah,
everything is got to be like a Dark Souls.
Dark Souls like it. I'm like, they're just roguelikes. What are you talking about? Where would you drop Mass Effect? So that's a role-playing game because everyone talks about their shepherd. My shepherd did this. My shepherd was a renegade. My shepherd was a paragon. But also, it's got flavors of that story element. It's a tactical RPG shooter, right? So it's got a little bit of everything, Kristen. I just started up Mass Effect again, and I forgot how great it is.
The first one?
The first one. It's great to play it again. Like, the controls drive me insane, but it's still a great game. Also, I can't change them, which drives me even more insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this modern world we living in where I can't change the controls?
Which is interesting because I thought they did some quality of life for that Legendary Edition.
Graphics are better, buttons are a little better. It's great. I liked all three, Brandon, but you probably played a Paragon and you didn't realize how great it is to be the evil guy in the third one. Right?
Dark Souls sadistic, yeah. Then you got Fusion or find each other. I didn't realize it.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Fusion foods out there. So what?
Yeah, Brandon. So what's interesting is because we multi-stream, right? So you guys don't see everyone else's chat depending on which you're in. So the folks that are watching me on YouTube are on YouTube, and so they don't see the chat stream for everyone else as long as we don't put it up there. But
we have to figure out how to put the chat stream up here because I can see.
Yeah. Right? There's got to be a way. I'll figure it out. I can't believe
right now we're talking to people on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube. We're talking to each other.
Yeah, it's all great.
Wow, what an embarrassment of riches and conversation. Thanks everyone for jumping on.
The Citadel is a long slog, but after that, oh yeah, so good.
Yeah, Citadel is a slog, and yeah, Brandon, I tease, but the second one is by far the greatest of the trilogy, and the third was fun to get to close out, completion of your story, all the good stuff there.
So again, more geek products becoming mainstream and being created into movies and shows. We got a long drop to the Halo trailer. Have you seen this thing? It's going to be on Paramount Plus.
You know what I've seen? I've seen the epic nerd cries about Cortana. And I'm like drinking it up.
I'm drinking it up too because I don't care. I like Halo enough that I'm glad that it's available. And now, why does she look like a PS2 gamer?
It's not canon. Can we strike that word from the records? Why does canon matter?
We've already got the canon. If we want the canon, go play the game. Like this is fun to see it, like a different take, a different. We don't have to know every nook and cranny of the map.
Performed exactly the way they performed it in the Globe Theater in 1798. It's got to be the original. No changes, Joe.
No changes. Let's take a look at this as a group, as a collective here.
You. Humanity's best weapon.
Bungie is PlayStation now, right?
Master Chief, huh?
Man, I don't know about you, but I just get goosebumps seeing Master Chief
enhanced and trained for.
Do you? I feel like I've seen cosplays that look just as good as that. Like it's so.
He and the other Spartans.
I'm just gonna enjoy this as good sci-fi, man.
I hope it's good sci-fi. That's what I'm looking forward to.
He is lethal.
You have a Master Chief. You have guns. You have a Warthog.
And most importantly,
you have Covenant energy swords. That's all I need.
You have guns and swords.
You have a 2001 Tahoe in the background. I mean, like.
When I touched the object, I felt something. I felt different.
What they did to us makes you numb.
And you just
like
decided
Cuba?
Who was that? A Spartan do that.
Who's that character?
I don't know. Is she like the singer from Die
We're
Antwood?
not sure you can trust.
Oh, is she? That's the amazing casting choice.
She's got the same haircut. I think
Hey,
she looks
Katana.
great. I don't know what the
Stop
deal is.
listening.
Master Chief recovered something.
Sacred ring. Halo.
What's the term when they use a pop song and they slow it down? It's like epic something. It's got a term.
Surrender
Oh,
to
really? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some wildness going on. Is this a TV series? Because there's a lot going on.
Yeah. It's a show.
Oh,
It's
all
going to
right.
be a series on Paramount Plus, right? Everyone's got to have their.
Oh, Paramount Plus.
Find the Halo. Win the war.
It looks good. Oh, that looks good. I'd watch it. I'm playing Infinity now, and I realize I have no idea what's going on, but I'm really enjoying it.
So I was waiting because you haven't touched base since 2 weeks ago.
Since
So I
like
know that
three.
you were
Number
playing.
3. I haven't played anything since number 3. I have no idea what's going on, and I have no idea. It's great.
Save the Halo. What is that?
Save
Save
the
the
Halo.
cheerleader, save the world. Wasn't that like the cliche? Oh man. Yeah, right. Like it's a TV show. Just could do without the Phil Collins soundtrack. You know that what is that term? There's a term for that where they'll take like a popular old song, like a 90s grunge song, or the beginning of a Black Widow did it. And there's a term that everyone uses.
I don't know. Didn't we have Tim on here? Tim is our movie expert.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Tim was on here earlier, and he left.
Agent Tim, you're our lifeline here.
Yeah.
The game does explain 4 and 5. Is actually doing a pretty good job of catching me up.
Yeah.
But it is. You know what? Like Master Chief is an absolute monster. Like he is.
That's what's
tall.
That's awesome. That's what you want to feel.
Killing his way through an open world map. And I'm not quite sure why I'm doing it. And that's in itself is a blast.
Ear pollution. He calls it. Oh, stop. It's great. I don't mind. It's always a way for people to rediscover certain music, right? So, like, if someone didn't know, every so often that Phil Collins songs gets brought up. It became popular again with was it The Hangover?
Yeah, I mean, like, can we just play new stuff? But
do we want?
I want Phil Collins relegated to me waiting at the CVS. All right, I don't need to listen to this music anymore.
I want Phil Collins, and I'm in traffic, and I can just turn it up, and I can do the drum solo while I'm waiting. Yeah, exactly. With Tyson punching him out, that's great. Yeah, exactly. So but everyone remembers that song now. That's the new link point for that song. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Some of us remember it from the first, pilot episode of Miami Vice, and then it moved on.
Oh yeah, if we could talk about Infinity for a second, Stadium. You're right. Like I'm starting to discover all of the crazy things you can do with Master Chief's ability in this game, and it's fun. It's fun. It's the first real feeling of next gen for me is Halo Infinity on this system.
Yeah,
it's really great.
Because what did you say? No, Mad World or anything? Yeah, well, I mean, Mad World is. But what's funny about Mad World is just to get geeky here is Mad World the version that everyone kind of rediscovered outside of the one that played on Donnie Darko, right? They then played another version in the trailer, that first trailer for Gears of War, which is a cover of the original song to begin with. So like it's a cover of a cover. It's a mess, but Mad World has been covered.
There's like 5 albums. Hallelujah is another one that plays a lot.
Yeah, Hallelujah gets played a lot. But it's always slowed down. So they'll take a pop song and they'll draw it out and give it that ethereal epic. And there's a term for it. I can't remember what it is. It's like an actual coin term, like you're gonna
have to look it up, Joe.
Epic nostalgia or something like that. Anywho. Something silly.
Isn't Dan our music guy? Dan, where are you here? Let's go.
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah, I'm sure though. So speaking of nostalgia and remembering, January 31st, last day of January. This always shows up in my feed, but this is the 15th year anniversary. I don't know if you remember where you were when this happened.
I have no idea what this is.
Sure you do, man. It was all over the news. Do you remember this?
10,000 years old.
It was no
idea what's going on here.
So it was
oh, I do remember that.
So Adult Swim decided to do a guerrilla advertisement, and they called they called them they're called stickies.
Mhm.
They're LEDs, independent batteried LEDs, and you line them up on a board, and you put magnets on the other end, and basically you go whack, and you slam it down, and it puts all the magnets on a hard disk, and you can't turn them off. Each individual LED you have to turn off. So they put them up there in the middle of the night. So people were driving by and they saw the like date and the FU and the moon and night, and people like freaked out. The entire city of Boston freaked out, and Adult Swim had to be like, whoa, come back out and say that it's just guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, but in Boston they're weirdos. Yeah.
Oh my God, you won't see Collective 5 minutes. It's not my favorite show. It's definitely one of those shows that you put on in the background. I used to watch on Adult Swim. I've seen the majority of all the episodes. I'm not the biggest fan. There's a lot of memorable moments in the show, but I do remember this.
40,000 episodes?
Yeah, exactly. It's like 1 billion episodes. Yeah. And but I do remember this, and only because this happened. I mean, 15 years ago, I was deep into my cybersecurity, and it was right after 9/11, and years after 9/11, it's just a lot of things happened. And I remember, it was like many years into DEF CON. I was like my 5th year into DEF CON and going, and it's just cybersecurity. And this kind of stuff was just the mayhem that just really hit for me. Like, it was like, yeah, this is great. And then I just saw the city exploded. And this is pre-Twitter, pre-all of that. It was just circulating.
Boston's all like, oh God, we're all going to.
Yeah. They thought they were going to be the next attack point because of this cartoon.
Nobody cares about Boston.
Tell me how you really feel about Boston. I just thought it was hilarious. It was one of those things that.
No, it's good. I had no idea. The memory of that is completely gone to me.
So what's new, man? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Like I said, Halo Infinite I've been playing. Mass Effect I started up because I'm an idiot. I want to play 2 big box games at the same time.
That's a tough one, man.
Slay the Spire still killing me. It's Kristen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Joe made up a word in his head.
I'm not.
He's got headcanon problems now, and it's just there.
Look, Kristen, if you the best way to get to this term is I read the article when they were talking about the cover of I think it's the song that they use at the beginning of Black Widow. So the
even more vague. Look up Black Widow, Kristen.
The Black Widow, the song, the cover of the song that they use in Black Widow, and then it's that slowed down 90s Nirvana, or I can't remember what it is. I think there we go. Dan pulled it up. So I was like Teen Spirit, but that slowdown has a term, and when them using it in that like slow, methodical, epic like way, it's got a term. And I read an article all about it, and they listed a bunch of movies that had been doing it as of recently. So
all right, I can get behind that.
Anyway, I think it's funny. They pull these old songs, and then just by the change of the tone, they'll take a happy song or whatever and turn it into like a dark. Or horror movies do it all the time, right? They'll take like an old, Queen song, and they just slow it down and change the pitch, and all of a sudden it's creepy.
It's a creepy song, and you're like, oh God, no.
Right.
So what's on your NFT list right now? I'm just wondering if you
So it's like every other day it's like whack-a-mole with what company is going to do an NFT. And I think we talked about Team 17 a couple minutes ago. Team 17 came out and said that they were going to do worm NFTs, but yet the creators of worms are like, no,
we don't want to do it.
We don't want this. Like, but Team 17 is now run by.
It appears to be straight up scam after straight up scam after straight up scam. Do you catch the Ice Pisidian, the old streamer, scammed some folks out of $500,000 with his NFT?
No.
Cryptocurrency. Yeah, there's a lot of going on there. Yeah.
So I know what a lot of people have been doing is they'll set up a site, then they'll set up a new crypto, then they set up the scheme to buy it. And then what they'll do is they'll cash out, right? Like it's the easiest way to do it.
You'll cash out before anyone can figure out what's going on.
There's technically nothing. I don't know how that falls under the legality of it, because you're just taking money for JPEGs, right? And you just give them a JPEG, and then at that point you're like, oh well, bye. Like, what's the? Yeah, I mean, pump and dump is definitely the term of anything like that. They did it with the investors in the GameStop scenario. There was just like,
well, which is illegal. That's an FTC violation, I believe, depending on how much you pump and dump and how many friends you have in government and how much money you made. It's supposedly illegal to pump and dump, right? That's there. NFTs are out of control now. I feel like there's not an article that goes by that isn't. What if New York Times makes a Wordle NFT? What if we start seeing Wordle?
Dude,
NFTs?
at this point, nothing surprises me. I feel like every other day, like I said, I'll look up something, and sure enough, like a company that I like or a property that I'm enjoying or whatever, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do NFTs," and I'm like, "Oh, come on, man! Like, can nothing be sacred? Does everything have to be an NFT? Does everything have to be crypto, bro?" I don't know. I don't know what to say about it anymore.
That is not the term listed. Nice.
Dude, I swear there's a term. I found your article on LimeWire and I'm reading it. Maybe you're right. Maybe
thanks for jumping on specialization. Capitalism is killing me. We should throw that up. It's been a while.
Oh, thank you. It has been a while. Boom. There we go. There we go. That's exactly it. Capitalism. We're all dying. By the way, this is now an NFT. Odd Job. I own it. You can't have it. Odd Job is still cheating if you pick them on GoldenEye. I'm just putting that out there just for you, Rolls.
Yeah, I actually the other day I found myself in the weirdest corner of the internet, and I saw a TikTok that was about the pause music for GoldenEye, and I forgot how
jam
the music was for GoldenEye.
Yeah,
so I have now a Spotify GoldenEye mix that I've been listening to that I'm enjoying. It's not cheating. That's right. Non-fungible token, non-cheating token is what we will call them. Anyone hear it? So good. That part right there.
Yeah, the TikTok video is like it has it. He was like, "Hey, are you done working on that pause music?" Yeah, I got it. It just needs to be quick. Put it on, and then he plays it, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Like, it just makes no sense. It shouldn't be as good as it is.
GoldenEye, it's so good. Okay, that is actually pretty awesome. Listen to it. It's the trap mix. That's exactly what I've been listening to. Stadium is the trap.
They've got all sorts of mixes and whatnot. It's ridiculous.
I'm an old man listening to video game music remixed today.
Oh, you've got to my level. Even though you're older than me, you finally came back around, huh? It finally caught you. You're like, nostalgia doesn't affect me. I throw everything away. And I'm like, sure enough, that start pause music hit you, and you're like, oh shit.
It hit me just right at the right time.
When the nostalgia hits just right.
Oh, Brandon, did you ask Neil Young if that was okay?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, Brandon. Oh God, this rant of the day. So speaking of the Neil Young here, if you aren't familiar, the chaos that is happening and ensuing with without getting too political, I don't think the misinformation.
We support science here on Mid-Geek.
Yeah, we support science here on Mid-Geek Crisis. And Miss Senor Joe Rogan, on a giant platform with millions of individuals, just says whatever he comes to mind, right? And sadly, that's not a good thing. And he's got a platform, and it's affecting people. People are dying, that sort of thing. People are taking supplements and things because he says that, oh, it might be okay. And sure enough, Neil Young said, you know what? You guys need to, he basically approached Spotify, and he's like, can you guys either tone him down or I'm leaving? And Spotify was like, fine, and so they started removing his music. So Neil Young didn't take it. So they decided to remove his music. Neil Young agreed. He's like, fine, take it off. And so other artists have followed suit. So we now had, what is it? What's
There's
your name?
Some other artists following suit. Good for them. I mean, it's great. I don't listen to Neil Young on my Spotify, so it's
no, neither do I. I mean, most people don't, right? But the idea that someone is popular, and there's a couple of people on Twitter. I'm trying to find it and maybe post it later. But one person I followed said, really consensus, really set it up and said it just right. He said, "Look, wherever you stand politically is neither here nor there." Joni Mitchell, thank you. I remember it was Joni Mitchell. I was trying to remember who it was, but he basically said, look, when the music, like the Spotify's entire purpose is for music, when they side with someone that isn't producing art, it's more pundit side of things, and they don't stand with the musician, I choose not to support that company anymore. Spotify is a business, but originally they were about music. And Neil Young is music, and he's a classic. Like he's not just some random artist. You know, you're right. He hasn't been relevant for a long time, but he also has like
he's pretty formative.
Right.
He's a musician's musician.
I mean, a good example is he's one of those artists that might not be relevant now, but I guarantee you people are rediscovering his stuff, and then they'll make covers and remixes and whatever else. And sooner or later, the next popular song you hear is going to be a remake of a Neil Young song. Or they'll use him, and it happens all the time, right? Like half the music goes into on the radio right now. It's you'll hear that it's a catch or a remake or whatever of an old song. So I think it's disrespectful.
I couldn't name a song right now by him. Piano Man, easy. No, here's another
trolling.
One.
God, the trolling. I love it.
They're all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
What is it? Yeah, for Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon.
For
Bridge over Troubled Waters. There's another one, right? That's not.
No.
No.
God, there's a few. Yeah. Rockin' in the Free World. Yeah.
Okay.
The Needle and the Damage. Hey, my. Yeah. There's a bunch of. I mean, they're like you don't know a lot of them off the top of your head, but you hear them and they're like, oh, okay, I know that song. And sure enough, you're like, oh, who is this? Like, it's Neil Young. Yeah, it's just silly. I don't know.
Good for him. I mean, to think of Spotify as anything but a massive platform for entertainment is ludicrous, right? It's not just music; it's music, podcasts, news stations,
right? But it became that after the fact, right? Originally,
it doesn't matter what they became after the fact; it's what they are now that matters, right?
Right.
I mean, Joe Rogan is a podcast, not a musical thing.
Well, he's also an investment.
He's a massive investment.
That's the difference, right? They've dumped money into that. They own his rights, and
they have exclusive rights to his work, and blah blah.
So they would rather keep him than keep Neil Young.
I don't pay for Spotify, so I don't really care, right?
Yeah,
it's fine. Do I listen to Joe? No, that's really the important part, right? You don't listen to him. You don't give him the listens.
Yeah, I'm just not going to listen to him, and I don't. I really don't. Oh man,
clicks of his stuff. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, Perfect Dark Zero had some badass pause music. I really liked it. I thought it was hard. I remember trying to get around. It was terrible, but it was good. I like some of those challenging games from back in the day. Freedom of the markets and freedom of speech. Good on Spotify to hold their ground. And
remember, freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence, though.
Yeah. Also, freedom of speech is protection from government infringement. Let's really talk about this. If we want to live in a capitalist world, then we are allowed to speak with our dollars. Right. If we don't live in a capitalist world, then we need to have a conversation about how shitty the world is. Right. That's where it comes right there. So it's freedom from consequences is something Joe Rogan and Spotify should endure for their choices.
Right.
Don't like it, change the channel every time. Right.
Every time. And that's the way it works. And so if you don't want to support a platform like Spotify, then take your dollar somewhere else.
I also think that freedom of speech protections, if we want to talk about government intervention, and I don't know if the last 8 minutes of Mid-Geek Crisis, we should talk about this. There are not protections for people screaming fire in a crowded movie theater. There's no freedom of speech protection there because they create a danger. Joe Rogan, by his ignorant behavior, is creating a danger. There is an argument to be made that there is a public good served by preventing people from saying stupid shit. So let's talk about that. Let's have that conversation.
Yeah,
I get a little bit. I mean, I get a little riled up. There.
No, it's the truth though. And
hey, what's up, Team Panda?
What's going on? Haven't been seeing in a while. Much love from Japan.
Yeah,
welcome.
Love it.
No, but yeah, absolutely. And again, someone had made. I watched some TikTok. A famous guy, comedian. I thought he was funny, and he made this argument. He said he tried to make the analogy of like if I'm in a restaurant and I hear a couple behind me talking and they're saying wrong information, but the analogy didn't work because that's a restaurant and it's a private setting.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is a platform with millions and millions of individuals. So
he's talking to a lot of idiots. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's talking to a lot of people who could potentially believe that he's not just entertaining, right?
Right.
Joe Rogan is an entertainer and he's going to entertain by asking questions like that. So it's I don't know. We need to have a real strong conversation about it. And it's super awkward and devastatingly hard.
Right.
Talking about freedom of speech on an app that was funded initially by Chinese government.
10 cent, baby. 10 cent. That 10 cent. That 10 cent, baby.
There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. We all have to make our choices here.
Right. No ethical. Exactly. Boom, baby. Let's
Killing
there
us
we
all.
go. Let's throw that up there right there. Here we go. And of course, as always, the world is on fire.
This is a dumpster fire.
The end is
There
near.
you go.
No,
Does anyone else remember him from the Fear Factor? Right? Is he the Fear Factor?
Fear Factor guy. I just
he like blended livers like this.
I don't know when he became so valid. I feel like I missed, like I blanked out on following him. From 1 minute he was the comedian that was the host of Fear Factor, then he became the UFC guy. And
That's right. He made he's
he
pretty
was a
much
UFC guy, and now he's like some dude that's telling me that horse dewormer is like the best way to save myself from this pandemic.
He's just asking questions.
Oh, he's just asking. That's right. That's the question.
Fear Factory. It wasn't Fear Factor, right? That's Fear Factor. Yes.
Fear Factor. Right. Not Fear Factory is the publishing company. They do like small time horror movies.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah, they're one of the publishers.
All right. There we go.
Anywho, that's beside the point.
That's besides the point.
At this point, it's one of those scenarios where.
What point were we making?
The point we were making was that that was the news this week, and it just seems to be.
Speaking of news this week, I think we touched on it for a second last week, but if you have the opportunity, go out there and pick up Mouse. Give it to someone else to read. I just started rereading it this week, and I know it's popular, like Wordle, completely different experience. But it will blow your mind, even if you read it 20 years ago or 15 years ago. It's still, it's canon. It's an important part of our literature.
You want to speak canon? This is canon. Also, I want to say that because of the banning, it has now hit its bestseller.
Of course it does, because books that are important cannot be stopped.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, people need to learn this. Yes, everyone. Thank you, Kristen. It is an incredible read. Everyone needs to read Mouse. Can't buy it in Canada. Sold the hell out. What a fantastic deal.
That's always good.
I've been meaning to reread it because you read it at 15. You're taught it in high school. Some high schools you read it in college. Maybe you learn it in a literature class, and you have a different experience. And then you read it at 40 when you've got a family or you've established yourself in your life, and you look around the world today and the political scene we have today. It is astonishing. How powerful this book is, how powerful this story is. It's wild. And it's super sold out at Amazon. Yes. The only place. Check out your local comic book shop, friends. This is
as a matter of fact, Will Wheaton, right? Was that what we were talking about? Will Wheaton.
Yep.
Will Wheaton bought thousands of copies and shipped them off to comic book stores in Tennessee.
And they're giving them out.
They're giving them away for free.
So good. I love it because you can't stop that, right? No matter how hard you try to express something.
I mean,
like that,
have we not? I don't understand the government side of things. Like, at what point in time in history has there ever been the good guy that's burning the books? Right? I mean, have we not learned anything?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't know. So like, what the adage that I've read it, it's a meme now. Like, if you're at a rally and there are Nazis at the rally and they're on the same side as you need to rethink your attendance of this rally.
Right.
Just think about that. Just ponder that for a minute. If you're on the same side as Nazis, even if you don't agree with everything they say, there's some overlap that you need to really soul search.
that you should never be in the Venn diagram where the Nazi circle still touches your circle.
Be on the other side.
I want to be on the other side.
And you're right, Joe Rogan. Right? We need to remember that you're responsible for your own health, but as a part of a community, we should also try to be responsible for what we put out there. Right. There's an ethical thing we should do, and we should try to be responsible.
And that's all anyone's ever saying, right? Like,
and be confident. We should call out people, right? Call out people who are not being responsible.
I mean, that's the big conversation with misinformation over the past 5 years or so, right? Like, misinformation can be for the lulz, but at some point in time, doing it for the lulz causes more damage than you think it does.
Like birds are not real.
Like, birds are not real. They are absolutely not. Snow days exist so that the government can rally them all up and change their batteries. They are solar powered, but during the snow, during the overcast, they're not around. Why? Because the sun cannot charge them. Just putting that out there. They
Dude,
fly.
I'm subscribing to the newsletter right now. Where do I
Bruce are not real wake up sheeple. That's exactly right. Oh man.
Everyone, oh my God, this show is a joy. So many
I love
awesome
it.
people coming on. Thank you, everybody. Play some video games. Go out there.
Yeah. Let's end it on a high note here. What's a good high
What do you
note?
get
here
the dope
real
high
quick?
note here? What do you want to put
Yeah,
out there?
A dope high note. I'm trying to think of what I missed. If I missed anything, man. It is Lunar New Year, folks. For anyone who celebrates, happy Lunar.
Oh, that's
New
right,
Year.
Lunar New Year. That's right. Totally forgot about that. Groundhog Day is tomorrow, and I hope if it repeats for you, it's a good day for you. It's an excellent day for you if it repeats tomorrow, right? That's what I'm hoping. I'm playing Halo Infinity. Specialization is overrated. What are you playing? That's what we want to know.
I am. I was playing with my kids earlier. They what is it? Taiko Drum Master. Taiko Drum got put up on Game Pass, I think. And
have you played it?
Yeah, the kiddos are loving it. We're playing. It's a rhythm game, right? So it's the Taiko.
There's so there's so much stuff going on the screen sometimes that I can't play. As a joke, I put it on super hard, Joe, and lost it. Yes. Stop being held, and I'll have your Xbox out there as soon as possible.
He's got an Xbox I purchased. There's no worries. Again, by all means, that purchase was done a while ago, and it's just one of those things that like you had it there, and I'm okay with it. So no worries.
It's like a Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's a Kickstarter. Oh man, yeah. If anything, go watch Groundhog Day. Yes, and Taiko. It's a great game. There are accessories. There's a whole community out there for them. As a matter of fact, I think I fell down a rabbit hole once, and there was like mods. People will buy like the Switch controller, and they'll switch out the inside and put a piece of wood so that it feels like the drum.
Oh my gosh, that's
there's all sorts of mod kits you can buy on Etsy. I mean, it's.
Have you tried it? I did the Oh my God, what's the song from that Underworld game? What is that?
Megalovania.
I did that one on Madness.
Yeah. My kids were playing. I heard it in the room. They were playing, and I heard it in their room, and I was like, "What are you guys playing?"
Every time I hear it, I'm like, "Why do I know this song? What is this song that I'm?" Oh, right, yes,
yeah. So here's a good example.
Congratulations, finishing Dragon Quest Builders. Hey, everybody, if you're part of our Facebook group, post up your pictures, your credit screens. Let us know what games you're beating.
Right. Yeah. If you follow us on Twitter, reach out to me. If you post,
like, subscribe.
We like to use the hashtag, last year we didn't touch base on it very often. I only made it through about 27 games out of the 52. Every year we're trying to do for the past 2 years now that this is the second year going, try to get 52 games in 52 weeks. Hashtag.
I am 0 for 4 in January. 4 weeks past.
I am 2 for 52 so far, and I'm good there. I'm ahead. Woo! But yeah.
Team Pandora bought a crappy taiko drum from China. It's terrible. All right, good to know.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying there are people that mod them, right? So you can get like sensibility.
Gosh, look at the Etsy store. This is like a thing.
Oh yeah. So you'll crack it open and you'll replace it at the drum, so that way it gives you a better feel and there's a better sensibility. There's all sorts of mods for it. And you can see reviews. People buy these things. Like there's a whole community on it.
And you can I guess like you get coins, you can buy more songs. Like there's all sorts of it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been popular. I used to have it on the PS2.
Overcooked is a lot of fun. Yeah, exactly. Team Pandora. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Always play Overcooked. That's a staple with the kiddos. Although it's one of those where I don't want to fight with my kids, so I can only play about a round before I'm done. Like, nope, you guys don't listen to me. So you guys don't listen, so you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
I desperately try to let it go. I'm like, she's just gonna play the game she wants to play. She's just gonna play the game she wants to play, and I can't. Like, why are you? The rice is burning, goddamn.
Why are you the way that you are? Oh God! I can't. And I'm like, and no one ever wants to wash the dishes.
Huh?
No one ever wants to wash the dishes. No,
it's the worst job in the whole space because you just stand there washing dishes. You want to chop the meat all the time.
Yeah, you just want
even though you might be on the other counter that doesn't let you get to the meat. You want to chop the meat. You just like, what are you?
Is anyone playing Pokemon Legends Arceus? Haha, I'm going to say that right. Arceus.
Oh, that's
Arceus.
Great. Good job.
No, I haven't picked it up yet. It's on the list. That might be my first deep dive into a game. It's looking good. The reviews say it's good. It's an open world Pokemon game. It's
that's right. The open world the Zelda,
the Breath of the Wild esque. Yeah. Breath of the Wild, like, yeah.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's a good callback, y'all. That's a good call. Like stating where it's like, I don't know that I agree with that.
Yeah, you know, it's dead. So I'm not hyped about it as other Pokemon. Well, so I know we're an hour into the show and we're almost wrapping up, but I will say this. Pokemon is one of those franchises that I think has been a little overmilked, right? Everyone wants the next Pokemon game, but no one wants change in the Pokemon game. But then when they do change it, it's not what they want, right? It's a double-edged sword. So a good example is the last releases, Sword and Shield, were okay, and then we got the new ones that just came out, the remasters or whatever, and those weren't liked as much as people wanted them. And so now we've got this one, and again, no one knows what they want with Pokemon. Everyone has an idea of what they want for the next big Pokemon game. Nintendo is never going to go that far with it, or Game Freak, I guess, right? And
I want a dark Pokemon game that explains to me why children are allowed to travel around the world collecting dangerous animals. That's what I want. I want a dark Pokemon game.
This is a good point, Steve. I mean, we talk a lot about that on the show. Like, there's always these games. Yep. There's a lot of these games. Pokemon games are one and a good example where they require the hours of grinding, the hours of like going to catch the perfect, get the perfect IV and get the perfect, go through and do the, how are you going to catch your shiny and build your team? Who am I going to play against? Like, I have this like the fantasy of like, I'm going to build this perfect team and I'm going to play against who? Who am I going to play? My kids? My kids will pick up the game and play with they'll throw 6 starter Pokemon at me, right? Like,
and you'll be like, you're playing it wrong. What are you
playing
doing?
It wrong? I just don't. I have this idea of like what I want to do, and it doesn't work that way.
So that
Oh, thank you, Specialized. We'll end the show on that. Power World. Have you seen this crazy?
No, I have not seen Power World. Is this going to be?
Okay, we're gonna end it on this. We'll...
Who are you gonna play against? No one. There are no peers for us, Jason. No peers. No one can play against us. Also,
so here's this trailer.
Go online at the same time as me, for the record. All right, put it on. Let's watch.
Definitely Pokemon inspired.
It looks like Breath of the Wild.
It looks like Breath of the Wild. Everything. Just wait. I want to see your face reactions on this.
All right. Ooh, it's like a car. What do I got there?
First-person shooter, gardening, Pokemon, engineering.
Building a rocket.
Let's mate them together and mix.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus. All right. Now
I'm just writing a rip-off Pokemon.
Sky Whale. Yep.
With guns.
Dude, straight up, what is happening? What?
It gets dark very quickly.
What? And then an awkward transition with them eating each other.
Just slapping, getting eggs, shooting eggs out of them freaking.
Wait, but those aren't Pokemon?
They're like the great value version of Pokemon.
They Kroger Pokemon?
Kroger Pokemon. They're the Krogermon. Yeah, they took...
It looks like they went a little too hard on the Unity engine.
That's exactly right. They're Kirkland's best. You can see, like, wait a minute, is that Lucario? Wait, no, is Is that a Pikachu? No, wait. They're just like
different colors, doesn't
it's
it?
different. It's the same color, different shapes.
An extra horn or two.
Extra horn, you know. But
You're
yes,
right, Chris. And it looks like they took everything you might like about a game and they put it in. There's probably roguelike levels, right?
I'm sure there is. Well, I mean, you saw the Metal Gear Solid, like the stealth action behind this. Like Metal Gear and like a first-person shooter, and
looked
like
a little bit like Fortnite with the building.
This is the second trailer. Will this game come out? Will it be anything like this trailer? They had Harvest Moon-esque looking scenes where they
had Kerbal rocket building.
Yeah, Kerbal.
What?
It's just
like a Star Citizen.
It's got what's the venture capital on this? Like I don't understand.
Scope creep beyond belief.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't. You don't want to know what that's a whole sub DLC.
Yeah, like go to page 2 of the search engine on that one.
Page 2 of the search engine. Don't do that. That was a
lot. That was a lot.
It was a lot.
And I think kind of games that I'm like, I don't have the time to play because they look like such a deep investment to even begin to learn some of the subsystems. But
will they at all, or will it be just shallow? I just feel like they can't. All of that they promise. There's no way it'll have a good first person shooting mechanic with like a good like crafting and a good like farm life and like breeding and like the dark story and the team battles and it's a mix. There's no way all of that will be good.
No. I mean, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, like we've all got to try it.
That'll be a 75% off title on Steam. Yeah.
What if it is good? What if you're missing out on the most amazing game?
Damn you, monkey paw!
Match 3 game with cutscenes. It's like those Twitter game advertisements that are lies.
They're lies.
Joe is a non-believer. It's usually Joe who believes.
I am. I'm usually the one that believes. I'm usually the
it's because it's winter. Winter brings out Dark Joe.
It does bring out Dark. I just can't believe that this game will be this good, as much as I want it to. All right, folks, like, subscribe, share. We are an hour and 10 in, and I thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. Go play a video game. Go read a comic. Go pick up a copy of Mouse when you can.
Share a copy of Mouse. Read
go
it
buy 2 copies and give one to a kid.
Oh my gosh, if you can afford it, go do that. And play as much Wordle as you can before New York Times puts it behind a paywall. Enjoy that stuff.
Oh my god.
Thanks, Rolls. Always a pleasure having you on. Appreciate your subscription, Rolls. Everyone like and share. Stadium, Jason, Chris.
Stay warm, everybody.
Folks to come on.
I know everyone, if we are getting a winter storm here in Texas, and which is winter for like 2 days. I know we've got fans in Canada that
are down and your senators evacuate, man. What else are you going to do?
I know, right? I think it's Groundhog's Day, right? We're going to see if Ted Cruz sees his shadow tomorrow. You know, we'll know that he's left town and our grid won't last. Love you, everyone. Take care. Another episode in the can.
Be kind.